Hi, and good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're coming across this. My name is Deanne Battle, and this is the Composite. We are a hodgepodge talk show, and we accidentally went on hiatus for, I believe, 15 or 16 days. So I feel like I'm resetting a little bit, but hello, welcome for the first time or welcome back. This will be a brief episode. For those who might know me personally, I actually just relocated yet again. I'm in this, same area, but a smaller apartment. So I've been downsizing, and that, as usual, took more time than anticipated. So we were a little delayed on the episodes here. But hi, I'm back. Other things going. Oh, there's a ton of stuff going on. Most of it not good. If we're looking at at current events, but c'est la vie. We work our way through it. I think last episode, which was episode. Well, we're in season 4, so let me back up. We're in season 4, and this is episode 16. So episode 15, I believe, I did touch base on a bit of election stuff. I'm going to need to let that simmer, and here's why I say that. VP Harris, who's running for president of the United States, has selected her running mate, Tim Walz. I, like many other people, thought it was going to be Josh Shapiro, and it's not. And it seems that Tim Walz, some of his record falls more in line with things I agree with in terms of, I don't even know what to call it. I was going to say a more progressive agenda, but that word progressive even has been weaponized. So let me put it this way. The VP candidate for the Democratic Party, it seems that his record in terms of policies, giving kids free lunch and things like that, seem more in line with what I believe in, which is, justice and economic relief for working families. That's what I prioritize in terms of policies that I look at. And so it seems like a lot of his record falls in line with that. However, I don't think either set of candidates, if we're going to be honest, will have different foreign policies. And the foreign policies, that we're engaged in now in terms of where we send troops, in terms of who we fund, who we give weapons to, I don't agree with that. So, I think talking about election stuff like as a play-by-play thing is, there are people who have more expertise, obviously, than I do. I'm an English teacher. So they have a more wise approach in terms of historically, what's been the standards, historically how different policy choices, have played in terms of the electorate, and how people vote in the ballot box. I am not the holder of such knowledge. So there's that. And then the secondary thing is, they're not the bullet points, at least, or the policy positions on the Harris-Walz website yet for me to compare it with the Trump-Vance website. And so for me, the closer it gets to election season, that's what I'm always looking for. I'm just literally looking for, okay, what is it that you're actually saying that you'll do versus what the other people say that they're going to do. And then I always check third-party candidates because I'm a lifelong independent. Since I don't have that information, I think a lot of the election discussion in the U.S. is going off of vibes, and we're at such a crucial turning point right now in terms of, the very real threat of regional and world war, where things are in terms of climate. I believe episode 14 or episode 13, I looked at some climate articles, and we just kind of walked through it a little bit. And so I really don't care about personality stuff going back and forth, because it's very unserious when my country has such an outsized, at the moment at least, an outsized decision-making capacity in terms of where things might potentially go. And so I would like the people running for office, at least, the front-running candidates, to take this opportunity to earn my vote with the gravity, that it should be treated with. And we're not going to get that. So, I like to see myself as a practical person. So practically, why, keep, flapping my gums about a situation in a failing democracy, essentially, because that's what we are at this point. It's a failing democracy, in terms of the major choices that we're given. Again, the lack of policy focus and cohesion and attentiveness. So it's like railing against the system at this point. I don't know if that's productive. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's just that politicians gonna politician, right? So that's that. Let's see. Now, there was something that I saw very briefly before I hopped on. So I'm not really going to know what I'm talking about, which if you've tuned in before, I've done that before. But nevertheless, I wanted to bring it up because I think it's worth discussing. So I saw a quick mention of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, and a pact that they had signed, and I'm like, oh, okay, well what's going on over there? Because the last that I had checked in terms of things that were happening in Niger, I know that they were in the process of pushing the French out, and attempting at least to regain control of their resources. Now, I don't know how violent or not that situation was, and so I just wanted to follow up on that. But now that two other countries are mentioned, it garnered my interest. Okay, so this article here that I'm looking at is from... Okay, this is from AlJazeera.com, and it says, oops, I just realized I had my little finger over the bottom of the phone. I really hope that it didn't cover up the sound. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, so AlJazeera.com, it says Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso military leaders sign new pact, rebuff ECOWAs. And the sub-headline is, move is latest sign the countries are moving away from traditional, regional, and Western allies following a spate of coups. The military leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have hailed a newly signed treaty as a step toward greater integration between the three countries in the latest showing of their shift away from a traditional, regional, and Western allies. During a summit of the Nigerian capital of Niamey, my apologies if I'm mispronouncing it, on Saturday, the three leaders signed a confederation treaty, that aims to strengthen a mutual defense pact announced last year, the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. All right. The signing capped the first joint summit of the leaders. Niger's General Abdurrahmani Okay, let me try that again. Apologize for in advance for my limited linguistic skills here. Abdurrahmani. It looks like a Abdurrahmani Chiani. Burkina Faso's Captain Ibrahim Traore, and Mali's Colonel Assimi Goita, since they came to power in successive coups in their bordering West African nations. Okay, so this sounds like Central West African NATO. That's what that sounds like. Let's see. Okay. It came, I'm skipping ahead a couple of sentences here. It came just months after the three countries withdrew from the Economic Community of West African States regional bloc in January. All right. All right, and one of the quotes here, and I believe this is Assimi Traore from Burkina Faso, says, Westerners consider that we belong to them and our wealth also belongs to them. Well, he's not lying there. They think that they are the ones who must continue to tell us what is good for our states. This era is gone forever. Our resources will remain for us and our populations. You know what? I'm going to link this because this article, it has two more sections that each have several paragraphs. I think that if you're interested in this topic, it seems like a good place to start in terms of, I'm just speaking for myself. Pardon me, my face is itching. Looking up more resources to read on, possible documentaries to watch and everything. So listen, as the BRICS nations ascend, right? So Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and I believe they might have added Saudi, or they've added one or two more countries, right? So the BRICS nations are really trying to get off of the dollar, just because, my country, the power that we have, we don't wield it in ways that, how do I phrase this? So if you're a person or an entity in power, like, I'm not naive, you want to maintain that power, but then there are ways in which you can push the line. And okay, so now it's way beyond maintaining power and it's abusing power. I hope that makes sense. And I think the United States has been in the abusing power realm for quite some time now. And that goes for the West just generally. And so yes, whether it's economics, again, BRICS, or whether in this situation it's the AES here between Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. People want to find ways to organize themselves and to do realignment in sincere power blocks that are beyond our scope and control. Now, I know how my government usually reacts to things like this, which is to, send in assassins or something like that, or to try to overthrow people that we don't like. And I mean, that doesn't, I'm not trying to say that these people are, that they don't have certain abuses going on under their leadership, or, that they're saints. But what I am saying is that this nation state project, right, the concept of a nation and a people, within imaginary borders as a country, as long as we're, ooh, bless you, that was my puppy. She's not a puppy, but she'll always be my puppy. So our concept of that, right? People within a nation have the autonomy to select the rulers that they want, and to select the type of government that they want. And with that being said, that the abuse of power comes in when we throw our weight around and try to overrule folks, that are doing their thing within their own country. And so knowing my nation specifically, but the West just generally, the negative. I'm sorry, trying to get a little bit more light here. This is going to be a rough episode. I'm just sitting around a bunch of boxes. But the West's inclination is to just go in and try to squash those nascent realignment groups or the people who are conducting them, rather than attempt any level of diplomacy, which I think would be the more productive thing. So that's something that I'm definitely curious about, and looking to see, well, what does it mean in terms of how those societies operate, tourism, potential relocators. I don't know. But yes, I'm very curious to see how that works out. But the harsh breathing is the dog as well. What's the matter? Dude, so here's the thing. I take her outside, right? But then as soon as I'm on camera, she's like, I need to go outside again. And I'm like, no, you're going to wait until I finish my broadcast, friend. So yes, dear friend, you're going to wait until I finish my broadcast. All right. Other things that I want to talk about. This episode, as you can see, is rougher than usual. But I wanted to just kind of clear the palette and reset a little bit since it's been so long since I've broadcasted. So I think what I'm going to do now is, first stop scratching my nose. But just go ahead and go to the poems of the day, and then close out, because apparently I have a dog to walk. All right. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. I like to end each episode with some poetry, and I might start opening up to that to fiction and creative nonfiction as well. But poetry, just because, it on average poems tend to be shorter. But I like the final words to be, lyrical, words of hope, words of artistry, even though these are particularly shadowy times. Okay, so this first poem from poets.org, their poem of the day is from Chandler, Peters-Durose, and the poem is called Rest Stop. And it's for Maji Adams. All right, so Rest Stop. When given the opportunity to connect with, no, to be welcomed back into your home, no, family, do you take it? You reach out your hand and I took it. It felt too good. I pull away almost immediately. I look behind me, seeing the ash of my life. I burned and I begin to cry. Through the tears, I see you next to me, still here. Tears through my body as we sit down on the bench. You hold me close. Rest here as long as you need. I'm here. I'm not leaving. But you need me to promise that you will not go back. You made it too far. Everything in my body says, turn back to the life I knew. I look deep into your eyes and my voice shakes as I whisper, okay, I promise. You do not let go as I watch the life I thought I knew disappear before my eyes. Okay, yeah. That was a quiet one, and that's called Rest Stop. And second poem here from the Poetry Foundation. And our poet is one of my favorite poets, Joy Harjo. And this one's called Once the World Was Perfect. Once the world was perfect and we were happy in that world. Then we took it for granted. Discontent began a small rumble in the earthly mind. Then doubt pushed through with its spiked head, and once doubt ruptured the web, all manners of demon thoughts jumped through. We destroyed the world we had been given for inspiration for life. Each stone of jealousy, each stone of fear, greed, envy, and hatred put out the light. No one was without a stone in his or her hand. There we were, right back where we had started. We were bumping into each other in the dark. And now we had no place to live, since we didn't know how to live with each other. Then one of the stumbling ones took pity on another and shared a blanket. A spark of kindness made a light. The light made an opening in the darkness. Everyone worked together to make a ladder. A Wind Clan person climbed out first into the next world, and then the other clans, the children of those clans, their children and their children, all the way through time to now, into this morning light to you. Yeah, I like that one. All right, and that was Joy Harjo, Once the World Was Perfect. All right, today is Friday, so since I'm out of the groove of things and everything is cattywampus, I got no lighting, I got no stand. The stand is in a box. I got to figure out which box I put the stand in. You see the lamps in the bubble wrap. Shit is wild, right? So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go live again on Sunday, and then that'll be episode 17. And this season is almost over because the first season was 19 episodes, so I'm a little superstitious. So I just decided that each season will be 19 episodes. So yeah, so I've got 3 more episodes this season, which is crazy because the show is less than a year and a half old. But I keep it coming, all right? So thank you for checking out the replay. Oh, hey, Zena. And we've had a guest appearance, all right, from Zena. All right, so this has been The Composite. I'm still Deanne Battle, and this has been season 4, episode 16, all right? Take care.